All right.
Bitches. Oh shit.
You just pushed the light. You didn't even give us a countdown on that.
No, he didn't.
Weren't even ready for that.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. Hey guys, here's something for Donnie up there.
Oh my god, the profanity already on this show. My goodness. Let's put some comments up here.
I got something else for your ass right now.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get drunk and reminisce about Star Treks, gentlemen. The Star
Trek. I didn't bring anything. I just brought my hydration water.
You're too late on you're too late on that anyway. So
no, that's fair. So yeah,
Jason
we're just gonna
drink. He's all about the Bible and Jesus. He doesn't drink. He's a square.
No, I just forgot to bring it in. Plus, I was a little dehydrated, so I had some stuff.
By the way, before we start, I just wanted to apologize to everyone listening about the calamity that was last week's episode. I did get a chance to listen back after I got back from Virginia, and oh boy, what a fucking train wreck that was! You guys,
Garth, it's your fault, man.
If you're gonna do this fucking show, guys, don't bring on any random ass weirdos.
Hey, now wait a second. I'm not mistaken, and I've been on a couple of shows with him already this week. He's been apologizing the entire freaking week for it. All right,
has he?
That was a fucking disaster of a show, gentlemen.
God, some people's kids.
And as I recall, Donnie, Garth highly recommended by you.
Sorry about that, guys. Crypto Talk is continuing, but they're going to try to do a better job of, I guess, or at least you ought to do a better job of booking guests, because holy shit, what the fuck was that?
We're not going to listen to you. Yeah, we're not going to listen to you anymore, Donnie. Yeah.
I said I was
sorry. That motherfucker was like claiming to be like every stupid fucking tribe there was, misquoting the Bible like to the nth degree. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah. It was suboptimal.
Sorry for having you guys witness that garbage. Anyway.
I'm saving Nemo Veer's question for later, or comment for later. I've got it starred.
So today we're here to drink some beers and talk about Star Trek. And I have the title of this episode is Jason McLean, Star Trek Nerd. And let me clarify why I chose this title. Jason McLean is what many of you would call an Omni-Nerd. He is a nerd in multiple different avenues and genres, right? He's a cryptid Bigfoot nerd. He's a comic book nerd, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles nerd. He's a nerd for Star Wars. He's a nerd in multiple facets, a multi-dimensional nerd. Therefore, an Omni-Nerd. Although he's not a nerd in everything, like he doesn't play Dungeons and Dragons, he doesn't play Magic the Gathering.
No, so I only have so much time. Yeah, only so much time in a day.
Yeah, Warhammer is like the final boss of nerds.
Yeah, I saw that early on, and I'm like, yeah, that's a little much. Yeah,
I was a Farscape nerd.
No, I'm so if people are like Star Trek, Star Wars, I'm like Babylon 5. Like that was the best. Farscape, I really wanted to watch because I'm a huge Jim Henson fan, right? Love that. But yeah, no, again, Stargate's great. I love Stargate. But yeah, no, I like the title Omni-Nerd. That's I think that works.
Randy, you can agree, right? Jason is an extreme nerd.
Nerd, yes. Extreme, no.
No,
so extreme wannabe. Extreme nerd wannabe because I consider the extreme wannabe nerds is all these fanboys who think they know better than the people who wrote the shit in the first place. Okay, so yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. First of all, as we know, most of people were just see, that's what I'm saying. We can't trust him. We can't trust him.
Randy is a bit different. Randy is a fan of the Acolyte and Starfleet Academy. He just likes putting gay shit in sci-fi. He just loves all the gay shit in sci-fi.
Well, he is brain damaged.
Yeah, so. Here's the problem. Once again, it's the wannabe nerds calling it gay. So have fun with that one. How's that? I got an idea. Reach out to your honey and give him a big old hug. Oh, wait. That one up there on that side can't. This one
Yep.
over here is hiding from his. So I mean, mine I sent to Vermont. So yay.
Randy's a fan of space lesbians in space.
Look, all I know
Have
is if
you
you're
e-
gonna do space lesbian witches, they should at least be interesting. And the
Hey.
Acolyte failed to do that. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
I've got
Yes.
3 words for you: tripping the rip.
Uh-huh. Nemovere? Yes. Yes, we are.
Hey.
But not as much as you'd think, honestly.
Y'all ain't never watched Tripping the Rift?
Yeah, I did. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
I got
scared
it.
me for a minute. You Donnie, do you know Tripping the Rift?
No, I don't know that.
See? That's why you're just a talking head over there. Be quiet. Let the grown folks talk for a while, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like punk K-pop music, Jason Finch. Thank you for that question.
I guess I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess that does make sense that would be a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. First topic.
Okay.
Better living through Star Trek. I think I would, and I sort of came to this like a little while ago, and I was like, huh, that actually makes sense. That's actually what kind of prompted this whole thing. For those of you who didn't know, my podcast days starts quite a while ago, doing pop culture stuff. And honestly, it was a friend of mine had a Star Wars podcast, and I was like, what? That's not like, how is that even a thing? Like, how are you going to have anything to talk about after a couple episodes? Anyway, started doing that. Did Vagabond Nerds for a very, very long time. And I still not really doing Vagabond Nerds, didn't have an outlet for this. So I was like, I'm just going to use Donnie's channel to do it. Didn't really fit on anything else I do. So I think what I realized is I think accidentally Star Trek The Next Generation gave us a model for how to live with AI and the level that we have right now.
Yeah.
Right. And what got me thinking about this, I was listening to just kind of flipping through, and I was listening to somebody talk about how they've discovered, and honestly, this has to do a lot with education, because honestly, we're seeing kids, the difference between millennials and Gen Z, there's a legit IQ drop. And this is something I've been caring about for a while. It's like, it's why we homeschooled our kids. There is a legit IQ drop, and over the last 10 years, it's gotten pretty profound. And people have been looking at this like, what is going on? They noticed that what fundamentally changed is kids learning digitally. And so they started running these tests, and they realized that people, when you read a physical book, an actual paper book, you have better retention than digitally, right? And so that kind of got me thinking about a lot of things. And growing up watching TNG, I thought it was weird that these people who they literally had essentially iPads, right? Although more advanced. They essentially had these pads. They could get anything they could have any song ever made played for them, but they used instruments. They, they could go onto the holodeck and do anything they wanted, but they would sit there and listen to stupid poetry readings, and they would watch their coworkers doing plays and playing in recitals, and none of that made sense as a kid. But I kind of stopped with that one thing where it's like, hey, reading, and I've noticed I went back to, when I read from a paper book, I remember it better than when I'm just kind of flipping through, on my phone or even on the laptop. And then it kind of clicked. It's like, accidentally, I think TNG sort of created a model for us that, yeah, for stuff that's disposable, like work or whatever, or just kind of keeping up with the news, yeah, you use the digital stuff. But actual education, actual reading for pleasure should be done on paper. It's more tactile. It engages your brain a little bit better. Also, yeah, we know that playing musical instruments helps the brain, right? We've known this for a long time. Essentially, the TNG era was set up for people to thrive, making very deliberate choices with how to engage with technology, right? Had better AI theoretically than we do, but they didn't use it to think for them. They used it as a tool. They weren't asking it to give them the answer to life, right? That's kind of what we're seeing now. Is how how often do we have people using AI to think for them, write papers for them, instead of being a tool that it's actually good for, which is compiling information, running diagnoses, diagnoses, things like that, right? Diagnoses, yeah. It's essentially it's just saying, hey, we have to put humans in the middle of things. You need to interact with things that are real, with human beings, right? You can't just, in fact, Barkley, that was the whole point, is Barkley literally let himself get lost in the digital world. And that's what we're seeing with kids right now. They're entirely lost in these fictional digital worlds instead of with actual human beings. And they don't know how to interact anymore. So I think they just accidentally figured out how to live in a world with this technology, and provides a model and saying, hey, we need to put people back at the center of this. Actual human interactions, interacting with real technology, with instead of things that are produced technologically, things that are produced by hand.
Yeah, I'm talking about Hal out there. Y'all keep on rolling.
I saw that too. I saw that, you bastard.
Somebody came up, brought up Hal, and I was like, "Oh, great! We're talking about my boys."
You know what the fun part about the holodecks was that, and this is part of the reason why Deep Space Nine was so great. It was that on Deep Space Nine, people would have to pay for time in the holo suite, and
Yeah,
half the time they just be getting their fuck on.
yeah, it was.
And then
Yeah, it was
there's
straight up a
that
whorehouse.
component where you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, for the most part, people would just go into holodeck. and
I'm
get their
I'm
fuck
sorry
on.
though. Honestly, think back to the holodecks. Think back to the holodecks and how they were used at times. And you had Dick Murdoch. I say Dick Murdoch. He played Murdoch. Dwight Schultz played
Yeah,
Murdoch
yeah.
in the A Team, right? So when I saw him playing that guy, what the hell's his name? Barkley, Reginald Barkley. He's playing Barkley, and he's sitting there, and I'm like, I don't see Hal and Matt here. What the hell's going on with this? And then he's laying in Troy's lap, and she's like, looks up and goes, and I'm like, this dude is a god. He figured out how to do all.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was one of the funniest episodes, and as bad as he got in trouble, I thought it was one of the funniest episodes in the world, because every single one of those crew members had time, and they did that crap.
Oh yeah, that's exactly, like, I thought the same thing. It's like, yeah, of course he figured that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole point. It's like he was seen as weird because it's like, look, they're like, look, this is a thing, but it's almost like, keeping it on theme here, it's like alcohol, right?
Yeah,
alcohol's great, wonderful, but you can't let it run your life.
No.
And
that's what he was doing.
and
That's what that
That's
whole
what
bit of
wives are for.
Yep, exactly. No, 100%.
That's what wives are for, gentlemen.
Yes.
But here's I see what you're saying though. I mean, you're thinking that TNG, it gave us, for our time frame anyway, that kind of guidepost type thing going on. You know what I mean? Give us a little bit of how they thought we should live our life, that thing. Whereas the original series did the same thing, only with different time frame. So there were different rules and different things applied. I mean, because as well as I do, to this day, everybody still talks about either one, the interracial kiss.
Oh yeah.
Or the black and white versus white and black bunch with Frank Gorshin.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and the Trouble with Tribbles. People talk about that one.
Trouble with Tribbles was more fun when they did the DS9 retcon of it. When they went back in time.
I love that episode.
That was hilarious.
Talk about that one too. Yeah,
that was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
That was a great episode. But yeah, it's but more importantly, it was the and actually I had never sat down and actually watched in order the original Star Trek series. I'm doing that now. I just haven't had a chance to do it.
There's really no reason to. They're not in any other than the two parters or whatever. Then there's only like two, I think. Other than that, you didn't have to watch them in order. I mean, they were their own standalone.
Oh, I know. But
shows every time.
Yeah, my point is I've never done a full watch through, and it does change. Like when you've actually watched them, because I usually caught them in passing or whatever, because it was always on syndication, right?
Yeah.
So to actually sit down and sort of watch them, it is a very different experience. And
100%.
And to your point, so it was about, again, it was very much about humanity, right?
Mhm.
Like that's very much what the original series is about. It's like
Oh,
how
100%.
to do it. DS9 or not DS9 is actually my favorite Star Trek,
By a
but
long shot. By a
yeah,
long shot.
but what TNG did, and again entirely by accident, I think, was create a model where it's like, hey, this is how you interact, and it is about choices. I think one of the things I have sort of wrestled with in my own life over the decades, and I think a lot of people do, is you allow yourself to get busy, you allow yourself to let your life live you sometimes, right? That's why I say, you have to be the one living your life. And I think that's kind of the model they had, is you have to live your life and the technology has to obey. And that there is value in the real. Because I was actually thinking about this, and once I kind of had that in my head, I was about the whole, maybe they accidentally created a model for what we do and how we should live with the technology that we have. Like Time of Muck, that is a screwed up episode, dude. I
Yeah.
did not realize. It's like I did not realize how screwed up that episode was until I just did a rewatch, and I'm like, holy crap!
Episode?
The Time of Muck. It's the one where they introduce the Ponfar, and Spock goes down has to go back to Vulcan, and he
has to fight Kirk.
Kirk, yeah.
Yeah.
And McCoy's like, all right, I gotta fix. And so McCoy actually basically kills Kirk, and is like, I gotta take him back, for burial, or whatever. And he brings him back on the Enterprise so they can kind of fix this the thing. So Spock doesn't actually kill him. And I was thinking, it's like, man, this is kind of like, this is a really messed up episode when you think about it. But I could see it, and we see this in the motion picture too. It's like, why does everything at that center look old? Everything is clearly handmade. Everything is, because if you can make anything you want and make it perfectly, then perfection has no value. What has value is something that's been made by hand, right?
Yeah, I see that.
And same thing with like the food. Like one thing they talk about all the time is, particularly in Deep Space Nine, they make a really big deal out of it, is replicated food does not taste like real food. Like they never really addressed it. They kind of mentioned like when something's special, they'll break out like real alcohols.
Stuff.
Yeah. But it wasn't until
synthale. Sorry, it was called synthale.
Synthale, yeah.
Yeah.
But like they would break out real stuff every once in a while, and they never made a big deal out of it except to say, we're doing some real alcohol here because it's a little naughty, right? Because it was usually something that was banned. But in Deep Space Nine, they expressly tell you replicated food is perfectly fine, but you can tell the difference between that and real food, right? Sisko's father is a chef, and they're
in New Orleans,
showing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So it's like they were showing, they're still, Picard's family still runs a vineyard. They make real actual wines.
Yeah.
And it's something that Picard takes great pride in.
And he carried forward into the Picard series too.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. I really was surprised they actually went back to that old standby. But before you push any further into that, now you were talking about the episode with what they call it, with the Ponfar when he supposedly killed.
Time of Muck.
Killed. Okay. My whole thing with that series or that episode, when it got to the point where he got back up there and was turning himself in, and Jim come around and he said, and you saw the humanity come out of Spock.
Yeah.
Excitement. And he called him Jim, got all happy, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, well, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what that whole freaking episode did for me. It's like, okay, they just showed you every bit of Spock's human side right there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There is again, not to get entirely derail, not that this episode's going to stay on track of anything at all.
I'm about to say, we're talking about Star Trek. Is anything going to stay on track?
Yeah. We're going to stay on track.
Yeah. Anyway, good one.
Thank you. No, we always have this idea that Shatner was way overacting in the original series. And yeah, there are moments of that, but he's really not overacting in that. No. It's a much more subtle show than people give it credit for half the time. Actually, I'd say most of the time. It's very subtle. he doesn't overact at all. I mean, like the times when he overacts, there's like a reason to overact, right?
Yeah.
In really what he conveys is Kirk is so smart. The reason he kind of has that when he sort of stops, it's not that he's thinking about what to say. Like Picard, he's clearly thinking through what he wants to say, and it's very deliberate.
Yeah.
But Kirk, he's not. He's having to stop his brain so his mouth can catch up because he's already so far ahead. And he shows him in the way he looks, and the way he talks, and the way he behaves. You realize, oh no, Kirk's already 5 steps ahead. His mouth is having to catch up with where he is, and you can tell. Again, it is subtle, but like I was just watching the episode with Nomad. By the way, it occurs to me, Roddenberry had 3 plots, and that's it, right? Essentially, V'ger is just Nomad, right? It's just human technology gets out and gets turned into something else. God is always an alien, and humans should not have superpowers. Like, those are the only 3 plots Roddenberry has.
Well, no, he had one more plot. How much can we piss everybody that's watching off? That's because he knows who's watching. Okay, he knows what group is watching. Therefore, and I'm gonna say it straight out, just the interracial kiss, number 1, and that one with Frank Gorshin. He is outright poking the racism card right through their eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is jabbing them with this stuff, and people at the time weren't really paying attention enough. They didn't get it until later on. Other than the kids,
there were a lot of people who got it. Yeah, there were a lot of people who got it at the time. But to your point, yeah. I mean, so yeah.
You know what? It's almost as if the only thing that was missing from those original series, gentlemen, was gay stuff.
Oh, you had that. That was just with Sulu, though.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the actor played him was gay, but you never had a gay storyline in the original series. Well, thank God for Starfleet Academy, though, because they very much filled that hole. Right, Randy?
They have not. I don't know where you're coming out with this. They have done. See, you know what you sound like now? You sound like the guys that were watching the Beauty and the Beast show, and this little powder puff thing happens with this guy with Josh Gad's character, and oh my God, they had gay stuff all in it. It was a split second, and it was a laugh. It was freaking hilarious, and I loved it. And they all suck it for it, you know. But as far as the Starfleet Academy, there has been nothing happen as far as gay storyline or anything like that. It's bullshit.
What is kind of ironic, actually, is the fact that the next generation, probably, if you did try to put a gay storyline into the next generation, it would have fit pretty well.
Oh, yeah, they'd have made it work.
There are lots of characters that could have been gay. Wesley Crusher could have been gay.
Yeah.
Data could have been gay. I mean, Geordi, I was pretty sure was gay.
Well, that's kind of hard. He has 2 kids in the newer show, so. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, so here's okay. So actually, let me agree but push back. I think DS9 did it better.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is you're supposed to be beyond all that being a thing. Like the episode with
Riker being gay would have kind of been hilarious, actually.
Who?
Well, I mean, you could argue that if you're banging aliens, you're essentially, you could argue that you're basically pansexual at that point.
They could have gay swapped any of those characters, and it would have fit in TNG. That's all.
Well, I mean, it would have been the French dude. Let's be honest. I mean, Picard. I mean, dude's French, so that's.
I mean, Tasha Yar.
How's he French when he's speaking English? He's British.
Yeah, it's a British dude who's supposed to be French in space speaking English. I mean, that's.
It was funny. It was funny. Yeah. He had a universal communicator. Okay.
Yeah. So my first premise was just that I think TNG sort of gave us a model of how we could actually live with the level of technology we are and actually survive as a species and move forward. Because if we don't adopt some of these things pretty dang soon, I don't know how well this is going to work out for us as a species.
Okay. Now, he opened this can of worms. This one over here. He opened this can of worms.
Of course he did. Yeah.
You know, the only one that pulled off a gay type group better than any of them, right? Freaking the Orville.
Oh yeah.
You know what was the dude? The dude Peter. Yeah, I can't remember the dude's last name. He's also a voice on Family Guy too. But the one that plays the tactical, huh? This is with Seth MacFarlane, but no, the guy that plays Boras. Boros in the Orville.
Abortus, I
married.
think.
Yeah, I think it's Boris is what his name is, but he they're a male only species supposedly. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they do have females, and when they're females, they are forced to have a sex change to make them male
Yeah.
because they don't have sex per se like anybody. They lay eggs, and they sit there on eggs naked for 6 months or whatever it is. But trust me, sitting there watching this stuff, I am dying laughing because number one, it's all tongue in cheek. Number two, they couldn't be more serious about it either. They literally are telling you this is the way these people are. You have to.
Orville had some like serious episodes too. It wasn't all comedy.
It wasn't all. It was not comedy. It was not all comedy at all. It was some like I would say that's a better Star Trek than some of the Star Trek episodes I saw.
Oh, I absolutely. Okay, just to sort of derail even further here for a second, but in a way to agree with you here.
Okay.
Prior to Discovery, my least favorite was Voyager. However, Voyager I think had some of the best episodes of Star Trek, but as a series, it's weaker. In the same way, I think that the Orville kind of falls into that mold where it's like it's like it's good. It's about Voyager good, but it has some really good episodes and really good ideas and concepts that because they're playing more
Kate Mulgrew as Captain Janeway, I think she was really good. I feel like she carried the show.
Yeah, no, she was great.
But I felt like Voyager. The problem with Voyager is that it had too many like gimmicky episodes. Where they were just trying to capitalize on like the fad, right? Like that one episode where The Rock was in there because The Rock was the hot shit at the time.
Yeah.
So then all the advertisements were like, "We got The Rock on Voyager."
For all 15 seconds, seems like.
Yeah, and then like, everyone was all into the Borg, and guess what? Who shows up the most?
Yeah,
in any series, the Borg.
Well, think about it too. They had The Rock on that episode. Who kicked his ass?
Yeah,
7 of 9.
Yeah,
7 of 9.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, she was a gimmick character too because she was the hot.
Exactly. But Jerry Ryan, she embodied. She was actually had an interview where she didn't want to do it because of the cat suit type thing. Boy, am I glad she did.
Yeah,
she
what saved the show.
Especially after that first season and a half or 2 seasons. If she hadn't come in, it's done. It's done in 3, maybe 4.
And let's be honest, I think it's
she was the oracle of that series.
Yeah,
like she was,
and like everyone died in that episode or in that series like once or twice. Like I don't even think any of them are the original characters that went out, right?
Because they came back because Kim came back with them. They all came back.
Also, no, hold on.
Kim,
hold on. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh wait, go ahead.
Well, no, because like there was that episode where they had like this where they split in 2, right?
Yeah.
Kim and the baby that was born are the only ones that made it from that voyage, which was ostensibly the original Voyager, into the second Voyager, and the second Voyager is the one that escapes and lives. So essentially, it's the copy Voyager that makes it out. And I think the same something kind of similar happens to Kim later on. Like, ain't nobody on that ship the original people who went into the Delta Quadrant.
I don't know about that one because if you're thinking about the same one I'm thinking about, it was those other entities that were copying them.
No. There was the ship like literally split in 2, and they had 2 versions. It wasn't the entities that copied them. That's a different episode. It was
that's one I'm thinking about then. Okay.
Yeah, that's a different episode. But anyway,
I'll have to go back and look at that episode then.
Yeah, but like I said, Voyager had like some of the. Sorry, please talk about Kim some more.
No, Kim, Chakotay. Who was the half Klingon girl?
B'Elanna Torres.
Torres. Okay, Kim, Chakotay, Torres as characters. What was that guy? Paris or whatever?
Yeah. Tom Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Paris. Those 4 characters were not fucking interesting at all.
Here's the thing. The interesting thing about Paris. You know where they dug him up from, right?
Yeah. He was he was in the
TNG with Will Wright or Will Wheaton Crusher.
Yeah.
When they did that stinking star thing, there where somebody got killed.
Yeah. It's a different character, but it's the same actor.
Same actor.
Yeah, they actually did.
But they insinuated that he was part of it as well, though, when they first brought him in.
Yeah.
The problem with Voyager was that it was hamstrung by two things. Half of the characters were interesting,
Yeah.
but half of them were just completely not interesting at all. Like,
No.
okay, the interesting characters were Captain Janeway, the hologram doctor, 709.
Mm-hmm.
Neelix had his moments.
Yeah.
Right? That was pretty much it, right? Everyone
Yeah.
else was just kind of throwaway. The other thing that I felt like hampered it was the whole premise, right? What was the basic premise? Was that they got jumped over to like the other quadrant, right? The Alpha quadrant or whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole series is them trying to make it back. I'm like, if they had, instead of doing that, if they just had them in the regular universe, I feel like it just would have been a better show. You would have had like more like world building.
I think the whole thing was like they were trying to recapture like Lost in Space. They wanted to be out there, they wanted to be on their own, and they wanted to introduce new species in too. Is what kind of what they wanted. Rick Berman was the one that was really head honcho in this by that time.
Right.
So I mean, I understand what they were trying to get with it. I love the casting of Kate Mulgrew. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, she was
the woman before her. She would have just absolutely blown it. I mean, it would have never been good.
Worked. Yeah,
Denise Bourgeois or whatever her name was. There's just no way. I saw the screen testing on it. I was like, no, that's just. Of course, this is after the fact, but still, you look back on it. There's just no way she could have captured what Kate Mulgrew could capture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kate Mulgrew has an it factor that unfortunately that actress could not work with. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and even you're looking at the movies when we're talking about the movies, the TNG movies.
Yeah.
They bring her back in was it Insurrection? I think it was Insurrection. They brought her back.
Yeah.
And she was Admiral Janeway at that time. So I'm like, okay, we already knew that they had made it back before this movie had ever been made. I thought it was cool that they went and grabbed her to bring her in for that. You know?
I mean?
So
yeah,
they did. They used to do. They're really good. This is the thing I love about Star Trek. They're really, really good about continuity of their shows. You know what I mean? They can cross them over no problem anytime they want.
90s Star Trek, yes.
Yes, 90s. Not so much nowadays, unless you're watching Strange New Worlds and watch that crossover from Lower Decks. Now that was freaking hilarious. Okay.
Well, because it would be airing at the same time half the time, right? There was a time when new episodes of The Next Generation were still coming out when Deep Space Nine premiered.
Yep.
Before Deep Space Nine ended, they were coming out with promotional stuff for Voyager, right? So they were overlapping in real time too.
Yeah, they were. Yep. And that's what made them so good, honestly.
Yeah.
Because anybody looks back at it, Cisco was created by Picard, essentially. He even called him out on it in the first episode.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I get it.
And it worked. And Worf was a much better character on DS9 than he was.
By a long shot. By a long shot.
Yeah, he was.
100%. Real quick.
So was Cole Meany's character.
Yeah.
Oh, Chief O'Brien, yes. Yep. He had more to do.
Like he had a lot more to do, and he was like his own character. I was like, wow, look at this guy.
Yeah, the interaction with him and the Doctor were great. Bashir,
he was a well-written character too. I like.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, it was perfect. Yeah,
the best line of the entire series. I'm gonna tell you right now. It came from Worf, delivering Keiko's baby. You are dilated to 10 centimeters. You may give birth now. Come on.
Hold on. My favorite line from DS9 is from Garrick when he says, and I think I've even used this on air before. He said, "I believe in coincidences. Coincidences happen every day, but I don't trust coincidences."
Exactly.
That series is one of the best ones. And again, but again, going back to the original point, DS9 is the best series. Although I have to say, and again, TOS is right there after it. TNG's after that. Voyager's the worst series, but it has some of the best episodes. Like it's like Family Guy. Like Family Guy has like one joke per episode. That's one of the funniest ones you've ever seen. But you have to sit through the other 21 minutes to get to it, and that's my problem.
I enjoy all those 21 minutes too. I like the B story. All right.
I felt like early Deep Space Nine when it was just before like the Dominion got involved, and then it became a serialized like in the later seasons.
Yeah.
Before that, when it was just individual episodes like TNG, I thought it was much weaker of a show.
Oh, it was
compared to TNG.
Because all you're dealing with at that point is just religious fanaticism, really.
And basically you're in one spot, you're in the station, and everyone's coming to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, it's not as interesting as them going out to the other planets and coming up with like stumbling into like this weird cloud that turns out to be sentient.
When Avery Brooks went from the having the little crop top head to back to the shave and the goatee like he was in Hawk, I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you right now, that changed the entire series for me right then and there.
Yeah.
I was
100%.
back into it 100%. It was
Yeah.
okay. It was corny at times. Don't get me wrong, but there was just something you could feel whenever that show was on. There was something it was building toward, and you just maybe you couldn't tell it in the first couple of seasons, but when Worf jumped on and he shaved his head and went back, I was like, "Oh, shit just got real. Look out!
Yeah.
Here we go."
Yeah, it took him a little bit to find him, and the problem with Voyager is I think it was set up. It was not set up to fail, but it really wasn't. It was set up as a bad imitation of TNG.
Yeah,
And the problem is you'd already seen with DS9 that you could do something different, and
Yeah.
you could still have had that same concept, but just you could have played it differently, and they didn't do that. And because they had probably the best sort of setup, it's like here's a starship that's away from everything. You have a Maquis crew that with Starfleet, like there's a lot of potential there. There really is, and they never they tapped it only every once in a while, and then they kind of forgot that was a problem. Like they really didn't try.
Scott asked a legit question.
yeah.
What about Q? What a cockamamie idea! I hated those episodes.
I don't know where he's coming from
He
with
showed
this.
up in all 3 series. He was
Yeah.
in TNG. He was in Deep Space Nine, and he was in a lot of Voyager.
Yeah,
He
showed
was
up
in a lot more Voyager, and he was in Picard season 2.
Yep. So, and
Yeah.
actually, that's going to come up later.
Okay.
In one of the fan theories about Q, it actually involves Q. But so here's the thing: Q was fine. The problem is he has to be used correctly. He
Yeah.
only makes one appearance in DS9, and it's kind of, and he feels very very crammed in there, and he was like it was supposed to be
He
a
didn't
Vosh
need to be there.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only supposed to be a Vosh episode, but they're like, well, crap, since last time we saw her was when she was with Q, they had to explain Q, and he feels crammed in there. However, I'd like to point out, this is why Cisco's the best. He punches out Q, and he's like, what? Picard never hit me. He goes, I'm not Picard.
Exactly. Which was gold. Honestly, it was gold.
Yep. And
my problem with Q was that the whole concept of Q was that it's the crews or the captains going up against essentially a space god, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always felt like one missed opportunity of Star Trek was that they never had a well done space god. Because I'm thinking they need like a Galactus up in there.
That was the
That's the idea of Q. They're like a space god. Like I'm talking about like celestials. Yeah. I'm talking about like space kaiju.
Yeah.
Going up against
you're right. That was a crystalline entity. Period.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Until it was destroyed by that
like
one
a
lady.
Galactus, like something like that.
That's exactly what it did. It destroyed
I don't want
Jonathan
Delancey showing up in my little costume, all like bunching up next to the captain, like, "What's up, dude?" I'm like, "No, motherfucker, you're supposed to be Galactus right now, bitch."
Wait a second. So somebody showing up there that could do this and snap you out of existence isn't tough enough?
No, you gotta show up as Galactus.
So anyway, well,
once again, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys writing the daggum stuff. All right,
Galactus versus the Enterprise.
Yeah. Again, that was the crystalline entity. We had those episodes.
We did that. We talked about that. Yeah.
Crystalline entity was nothing. It was just an amorphous blob that had powers. I'm talking about an actual Galactus.
That was closer to Galactus than
Galactus is. I mean, honestly, it ate worlds. It literally destroyed planets.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have like arms and legs and talk and like shoot laser beams and shit. I don't know.
It did kind of get empathic with Deanna there at one point on one of those episodes. So before that lady destroyed it.
Like a space Godzilla or something.
Yeah. Well, again, if you're going for space God, that's what that was. I'm just saying. Yeah. Although, okay, so real quick, I see this line about, Voyager crippled Q. I don't think he did. In many ways, I think in a way that's gonna tie into our like the last theory that I've got. Then we'll go complete BS.
We ain't got past the first theory yet.
We can't. Well, no, we haven't. So okay, second theory. This one's really really short. You know how every
Hey,
space
you
battle.
didn't finish your thought. Voyager crippled Q. What?
I don't think it did. I think it expanded our understanding of their stuff. But again, that's actually going to play into the last theory.
Okay.
So
Voyager's
we'll come
where
back to
Q
it.
learned about erectile dysfunction.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he had Janeway he was playing with. He couldn't figure out what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
He was outsmarted by a woman, guys. By a
Always.
woman.
Yeah. And let's be honest. We saw that with Vosh too. Apparently he was he was a simp. So my second theory is, or second sort of observational theory, I think it's real kind of quick. You know how Star Trek's fights always seem like in like space Rochambeau because they just sat there kicking each other in the space nuts, right?
Freaking hilarious.
It is.
What do you mean?
It actually. Well, like, okay, so you see, again, I'm a huge fan of Babylon 5. You see them firing things and people miss. They're using tactics to avoid.
Yeah.
We see that with like Star Wars, right? But like Star Trek, they just sat there sort of shooting at each other, and it's like, well, whose shields are going to hold out longest? Is really
Star Trek combat boils down very much like whose turn is it to press the button? Now it's my turn to press the button.
Yeah.
Or you press the button. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to press the
Well,
button.
I never heard them yell evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, it's
no,
like,
but that's what I'm saying. But we never actually see
it.
It's like evasive maneuvers, but then we never see it. But here's the thing, though, right? There's a channel on YouTube, y'all. It's stupid. But it's a great channel. I love it, but it's stupid. It's a guy. It's called Retro Badger, and they take these modded spaceships from not Star Trek Online. It's Bridge Commander, Star Trek Bridge Commander. And he's like, okay, well, what would happen if we put this ship up against this ship? And they just duke it out. And I was watching and I realized, no, actually, that makes their form of combat kind of makes the most sense because you can't hide behind anything. You're in friggin' space with weapons that largely travel at the speed, at near speed of light. It is just a game of Rochambeau half the time, right? However, I think it's like, well, then why would they ever miss? We do see them missing sometimes. We do see things not necessarily landing. And I think there are assumptions that we have in our heads that aren't necessarily lined up. And again, let's be honest, it's a television show. I'm the guy who got yelled at a comic book store in Nacogdoches because they asked me,
but there's a lore that they're building up, though, with the technology. That's what gets you into it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But like, I'm the one who got yelled at because they were like, "Well, what do you think would beat? Do you think the original Enterprise or Star Destroyer would win in a fight?" And I said, "Well, which one was the bigger model?" And so that's why it's like, well, you smash the models together.
Enterprise would always destroy a Star Destroyer because the Enterprise never misses.
No, it would be. I'm the one who said the Star Destroyer would win because the model was larger and it was in a diamond shape, so it would just destroy the Enterprise.
Plus, it sticks its shield generators out like a pair of antlers. Like, here, hit these guys. This is my shield generator.
Yeah, exactly. Please hit here. And then
that's like going into a street fight, and the first move you do is going into a handstand and then do a split and present your balls. And be like, here, opponent, hit me right here, please.
Yes. Well, again, the logic doesn't work, but.
Also in Star Trek, the photon torpedoes, they're all tracking. They never miss.
No, they do miss from time to time. They do. They actually do miss, but that's sort of my point is they look like fire and forget, but we sort of like when we're talking, there's things that we just take, everyone understands. So they just sort of take into assumption, but we don't tell, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I'm calling you on the phone. Hey, I'm calling you on my phone that is traveling through this, right? I don't talk about the carrier waves or anything like that. It just is. We understand what it is. We know that, but even by the original series, if they want to, radar and things like that they can't see the Enterprise, right? If it's working properly, right, and it isn't been accidentally thrown through time, they can sort of be not seen by more primitive technologies, right? It's not it's stealth without being deliberately stealth, but their level of technology and shields actually means you don't see them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we hear things like Picard say, "Come to a full stop," well, there's no full stop in space, right?
How do you know?
hold on. Of all the people on this channel right now, Randy, you should know better. There's no full stop in space because
How do you know
everything's
there's not
relative.
a full stop?
Because
Do you know it's moving?
that's
Have you
it's
been
universe
out there
moving.
when he called full stop?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that stop is a relative? It's a relative term, right?
Exactly.
So
just like in the Navy, it's just like in the Navy. There's no full stop out on the seas either.
Exactly. It's a relative thing. They're always in motion, and they're moving really damn quick when you stop to think about it. Like their slowest speed is going to still be a couple 100,000 miles an hour, right? That would be from a relative speed. So there is sort of, it's not a full cloak, but there is technology. The way their technology works is the targeting systems aren't what we would think of today. They're battling these technologies, and because you can't be too far. Their weapons, they have to get close to shoot each other because we know their sensors are basically instantaneous, right? Because they're getting real-time information from their sensors at warp friggin' speed, and they can get real-time information as they're traveling.
Yeah.
That means if you're half a light year away and you shoot at them, even if it's traveling at the speed of light, they're gonna know and move out of the way. So you got to be close enough. And so the whole Rochambeau thing actually kind of makes sense, and why they would miss from time to time also makes sense. Their targeting sensors are as good as they can get, but the fact is there is still countermeasures, or even just the nature of the shields prevents them from getting these perfect locks where they never ever miss. Right?
Yeah.
But we see Worf. Worf is accidentally more dangerous than he is when he's trying to be dangerous. Have you noticed that in the
100%.
TNG? It's like, hey,
up.
Yeah, it's like just cripple him. It's like I tried to cripple him. The whole ship blows up, and they never explain. It's just like, well, that's what happens because that's how powerful these weapons are.
Would have really been good right there. I remember the episode you talked about. I wanted to see him do is look up and go, "Oops." I would have paid money to hear Worf go, "Oops."
Yeah. Yeah, Worf is accidentally more dangerous than half of Starfleet most of the time, but that's the point, right? It looks kind of stupid while you're watching it until you stop and actually see it visualized, and you're like, oh yeah, they're just out in the middle of space. Like you can't hide behind anything, right? And it's like, as much as you're trying to do, you're going to get hit most of the time.
Yeah,
but the reason that they could even miss, because these ships are so friggin' large, you're like, why would they even miss? Because it isn't like a heat-seeking missile where you can just fight. It's like there is latent technology that they don't discuss, and they're moving hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, even when in their slowest, slowest at least 100 and something thousand miles an hour for orbit. So it is what it is. Okay, the third topic, and this is the last big topic, is you could argue there's no prime timeline, because that's been one of the big things that the nerds talk about, is which one's in the prime timeline, which one isn't. I think there's at least 4 or 5 timelines, and they were caused both by the temporal war / Cold War, and this brings us back to Q. The reason for the discrepancies between all these series is, and unfortunately, Star Trek. I had this idea years ago, but Strange New Worlds kind of proved me right.
Mm-hmm.
But that with the timelines are constantly being changed because of the temporal wars that we saw, that happens multiple times. But I think Q fundamentally alters the universe on multiple occasions, not just the timeline, but even how their universes work. And we know we can do it because in the episode when Q was made human, right? They're like, well, how do we move this asteroid? And they're trying to do it. He says, just change this particular constant of the universe and it'll be fine. And he's mad that they can't do it.
Yeah, because he's like, it's just like this to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, crap.
Uh-huh.
That was one of the better episodes, too, with Quick Q being human. That really was.
Oh, yeah. And that's sort of my point, right? It's like, okay, hold on. If he can, that means, and we know the Q have gone to war.
Yeah.
So it is entirely possible that and there's more than Q out there. The guy, that one planet from TNG where it was just the dude and his wife, and he wiped out an entire planet by thinking about it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's other species out there that are equivalent to Q.
Yeah.
And so it's entirely possible that we've actually seen not just the history change.
Galactus.
Yeah, Star Trek
Space
Galactus is out there.
Yeah.
Space Galactus. Well, Galactus is already in
Celestial.
space.
Yeah.
Well, they have the rim around the galaxy, the galactic edge, where you're not supposed to go, and you can't go beyond the space wall in the middle of the universe, because that's where they imprison, the dude with the floating head. So, who we see, I would argue it's clearly the similar species in TNG when Barclay becomes the super genius, right?
Yeah, exactly. When he
So-
brings them, we just want to study you, so we bring you 500
we just bring
million
you out
light
here.
years this way. Yeah,
Yeah, and then we just drop you back off. So we look at the original series, right? We'll go ahead and call that one the prime timeline. I'm going to have this reduced so I can read. I had to write this down so I don't
okay.
forget.
And I'm going to tell you what I should
Mm-hmm.
say, regular Star Trek watchers, and I've never been to a single convention because I've killed 3/4 of the people there. But the majority of people who watch it and enjoy it, people start talking about, well, this timeline, that timeline. We're looking at them going, who cares?
Again, I'm the one who said, well, which model is bigger? And
Yeah, exactly.
for those who don't know, there is someone associated with our channels who used to dress as a Klingon and go to these conventions. We will not say whom.
Wait a second.
Wait, who? You?
Oh,
no,
not
come
me.
on.
No, not me. Mm-mm.
Well, I know it wasn't.
I don't LARP. I don't cosplay. But there's someone associated with these channels who used to do that a lot. I would argue they were a bigger nerd than I am. But I'm not saying who. We're going to move on.
Wait.
No.
Wait. Can I bring up a name? Can I bring up a name?
Nuggets like that. Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Are you talking about our mutual friend Paco?
No.
Oh, who?
I'm not telling.
No,
don't bring. I will tell you. I'll tell you when we're done. I'll tell you
the only
when we're
one I
off
can
air.
think of that it might fit.
And then being like, I'm not going to tell you who it. Don't.
The only one I can think of it might be would be Monica. Monica would do it. I bet money Monica.
I bet Monica would do it. I don't know that she has, but I'm not going to say anything else.
It wasn't Tex.
Tex wouldn't do that.
Okay. We'll talk about it. We will talk about it after the show. We'll talk about it after the show.
Prime timeline. Watch the show.
Prime timeline.
Ooh, Danielle did it. Okay, she's it.
Let me speak a bit on the timeline thing, though.
Okay, yeah.
In my opinion, I feel like the main timeline or the accepted canon timeline should be the next person who does it right.
I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, because again, it's all make believe, right? It's all fictional.
No, it's just that it's too hard because you can't go on the nostalgia too much. You can't go from that well anymore because a lot of these people are aging out.
Yeah,
right.
Gone all the way around.
Yeah, so you got to come up with something new and fresh. Like you got to basically do the Star Trek universe from the ground up, which you can at this point because all the timelines have been so muddied anyway. You might as well just hit the big boop reset button, but then do it right. You got to do it right though.
They're doing that right now with the Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds. So here's the thing. So here's the problem. You're not wrong, but Strange New Worlds it's good, but it's hollow. It doesn't.
I love it. So.
Oh no, I enjoy it. I really do. But when you compare it with DS9, well, it's relying a little. It's relying a little too much. It does do a good job on a number of things, and it's like I said, it's up there. I think it's really good.
I've never seen it. Is there gay shit in there?
Not nearly as much as you'd think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. In many ways,
however, it is the only episode of any Star Trek ever that was a musical.
Yeah, and I actually kind of enjoy that.
I laugh.
How does it on a scale of 1 to 10, Jason? How woke is it?
I would actually. It's back to DS9 level.
Yeah,
DS9.
There's one episode where one person does.
It was actually kind of woke if you think about it.
Yeah,
which is, no knock on that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
why'd you bring it up then?
Yeah,
I was curious. I never seen fucking that show.
No, it's worth watching. It really isn't
anything to do with it.
There should be a wokeness scale. Yeah.
Well, and the problem
is a separate rating. Like nudity, sex, cursing, wokeness.
Yeah.
Oh my God, sounded like my freaking people in Texas here. All my elected officials.
That's because he wants to be a
Hey,
Texan.
two of them come by today while I was outside working on a truck. So
See, what people in the chat don't realize is that Randy, I wouldn't say he's a defender of wokeness, but he is a tolerator of wokeness. And
I'm
you
a
can tell that,
tolerator of nobody.
and you can
I
tell
hate
that by looking at the symbol on his hat. It is a uterus.
Let
It is
me
a symbol of the sacred feminine. It is the
let me-
sacred feminine. He is
okay.
the
So
champion for woke.
now that I've got somebody coming to a battle of wits unarmed, here we go. All right.
Oh, I'm gonna
So
enjoy this one.
this
Yes.
wokeness that we're
Read the chat.
talking about. Yeah, you better read the chat because this is let me explain something about wokeness. I don't give a goddamn hell about wokeness in the first place. What I give a shit about is sitting out in a front yard working on a truck with my grandson, who is bigger than me, taller than me, 24 years old. These motherfuckers walk right past him, give him a nod like that, and come straight to me and start trying to party line to me. And I'm looking at him like, you know how
Party
much
line.
offense I just trying to sell. Oh, I'm the head of the Republican Party for the number one. I don't vote in primaries, so you can go fuck off. Number two,
Wait, your grandson's friends try to talk Republican politics
no,
to you?
these guys that were literally walking through here campaigning, door to door,
Oh,
knocking on doors, even when
campaigning.
I've got a no soliciting sign on it,
Oh,
knocking
they
on
were
doors.
campaigning.
They walk
Oh,
right past him and come straight to me. Oh, we don't want to talk to the 6'4" half black kid. We want to talk to the white dude in the driveway. You know how fucking
well,
stupid you just looked, you son of a bitch. Get the fuck off my land. That's how woke I am.
Mhm.
I mean, to be fair, if I were one of those dudes and I was walking door to door for the Republican Party, I would probably do the same thing. Only because of my defense. I just got to look at it objectively. Who is demographically more likely to vote for me?
And it's the guy in the uterus hat.
The guy in
Yeah.
the uterus.
Yeah. Well, they found out real quick. I don't vote in primaries at all. Oh, and if you want me to vote for you, you just sealed your fate by coming up in my yard when I got a no soliciting sign.
Okay, guys, keep going. I'm going to go on a
That
smoke
means
break.
All right.
that means you can't read, fucker. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, back to Star Trek. Now that he's
Yeah.
not talking
Now
anymore.
now that he's not talking about your uterus hat. Okay, so we'll
See, I
call the
can't see
prime.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the
You
guard.
can't
I thought, oh,
unsee
this
it.
was
You can't. Yeah, I can't. It's done now. It's over.
anyway. So
Anyway, so prime timeline. We'll call it the prime timeline just
yeah,
for the sake of
that's
everything, right?
that's the original series and
It through the
TNG and
motion.
DS9.
No,
Right?
no. It's actually the original series through the motion picture. That's the original
Okay.
timeline.
Okay.
And I would argue it's probably either due to the Q War or some intervention of Q or something like him.
Yeah.
That fundamentally alters the universe into what we know.
Yeah.
From the TNG era on. And the reason for this, right? This is why one of the biggest problems that they have is when the Third World War happens, right? When Khan happens, they keep having to push that back in the series, right? Because we see in the red uniform era, they come back to our universe, right?
Yeah.
With the whales.
Mm-hmm.
In the original timeline, Zephram Cochrane's from Alpha Centauri, and he's not the inventor of warp for humans. They flat out say he's the inventor of the warp drive.
Period. Yeah. They never said anything about human at all.
Yeah. And again, that was 150 years before the original series. So they flat out said he's from Alpha Centauri. He was a human living on a colony, and he's the one who developed it. And we know that that was not a problem because Botany Bay used a nuclear drive, and they had artificial gravity, and that launched in the 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we know that ship wasn't using nuclear bombs to blow its way out into the, to wherever they were 200 years later. They were using nuclear power to fuel an impulse drive. That's what V'ger had. It was an impulse drive.
Yeah.
Right. But an impulse drive, this is one of the things we don't really stop to think about. Full impulse is like 1/3 to 1/4 the speed of light.
Yeah.
It is, or another way of saying it's like 160. Yeah, it's like 167 million miles an hour, I think is what it was.
Let's see, 167. It's 187 meters per second is the speed of light. Yeah. 167,000, I should say, meters per second is the speed of light. damn it, my mind. 187,000 meters per second is the speed of
Yeah.
light. So you take that and you turn that into miles. I have to miles per hour,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. You're still talking thousands upon thousands of miles an hour.
Millions of miles an hour. So that is full impulse is 1/3. And the thing is, impulse isn't just a rocket. It's literally still interacting with subspace. This is one of the things that people talk about. It's just you have an to break the warp barrier, you're entering subspace, right? And the faster the warp,
Are we
the
talking about
deeper.
Star Trek tech right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
hold on, there's a reason. Yeah, we're talking about the timelines. So we had impulse drive in the 60s, essentially, or really in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. And that's when the Third World War and the eugenics wars were happening in the original timeline.
Yeah.
Zephram Cochrane invents it for everybody 150 years before the original show. That's why all the technology seems a lot more primitive. It is. And we see the same thing with the motion picture. There just aren't that many ships capable of doing what like the Enterprise can do, right? And even for the Klingons, they didn't like the fleets are significantly smaller, it's more resource intensive, they're less advanced.
Yeah.
We get to the red uniform era. It's a very different looking ship, right? Or not just ships, but the Starfleet is more advanced. It's bigger, it's more robust in a lot of ways. And so what we see, and that's the same sort of thing, seeming timeline we get with TNG and DS9 up until they switch out with the gray uniforms, right? For the war.
Yep.
And the reason we know that is literally the moment that there was a timeline shift, just before they get the gray uniforms, that's when you have the hold on, what is it called? Troubles and Tribulations, right?
Yeah.
And Tribulations, where did it go? I had it, yeah. That's literally DS9 season 5, episode 6. Again, great episode. I love that episode. It's 100%. One of the best ones.
Freaking Worf was gold in that.
Oh, he was. I love the fact that everyone's like the Klingons over there, and everyone looks over and they're like, they look at Worf and goes, "We don't talk about it."
Yeah, exactly.
I loved it. But then 4 episodes later, and they're given the gray uniforms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dominion era. Exactly, the Dominion era. Well, that is the uniform that Picard and everyone is wearing with First Contact.
Mm-hmm.
And in First Contact, who do we meet? Zephram Cochrane, who's on Earth, inventing warp drive for humanity only.
Out of a ballistic missile.
Yeah.
At the time. And then he says, "You know why I invented it? Money."
Yeah. And so that's the whole thing. It's like, this is clearly a different timeline at this point, because they went, again, Trouble and Tribulations, they went back to the original timeline. And again, we know with the mirror universe, right, that because the mirror universe and the main universe are so uniquely tied together, same people, doing the same things in the same places, right? They're tied. The Star Trek universe has a plan. Like it's going into, it creates the same people and puts them in the same places over and over and over and over again, right? The same people are even if they're enemies, they're still interacting on a very personal level, or they're and we see this time and time and time and time again. No matter how different these things are, that wouldn't work unless there's a goal. Strange New Worlds actually confirmed this, right? Where it's like, even if you completely screw it up, the same people are going to show up and they're going to be doing the same things in a way.
Yeah.
So even if there had been a timeline shift from the original series, it probably would have still looked like the original series to a degree, because it hadn't changed that much, right? So that's why Trial and Tribulations looks very, very similar. But the big change then happens after that. Somebody, probably do the Cold War or maybe even Q, changes the timeline again. Now Zephram Cochrane's on Earth, and that's an entirely different new timeline. But the people in the show can't see that. We can see it because we're the objective observers, right?
Yeah, we're outside their.
If you're going to do it that way, then Star Trek 4 would be technically a different timeline too.
Yeah.
Well, that's literally, well, Star Trek 4 is in that new timeline because it is our world that they kind of come into, right? And Voyager does the same thing. Voyager comes back to the 90s that we
last episode of Next Generation, wasn't that also a big timeline one?
No, well, yeah, it was, but it was concerning the reverse fracture in time that was created after Picard in the
Yeah.
future.
Well, I mean, fucking Generations was another timeline episode movie, if you think about it. The one
Yeah,
with
100%.
But moving
Post-Gener-
forward, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the point still stands. Time can be altered in multiple directions,
Yep.
right?
100%.
And you can make these radical changes. Enterprise is so we have the Prime timeline, we have the TNG red uniform era, but then we have the Enterprise timeline,
Yeah.
which includes the gray uniforms. Donnie, can you pull up the? Hold on, I think I got it.
You can do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, you do it, man.
I'll
Yeah,
do it.
you do
I'm
it.
the man here. Yeah.
Why you got to bring up Archer in his flight suit?
Don't tell me what to do.
First of all, I love Archer. Enterprise
do
does not
too.
get to live. Yeah, but here's my thing. Look at those uniforms.
Yeah.
It looks like they belong together, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, the Dominion era uniforms look like a continuation of the flight suits that Archer and them wore in Enterprise.
Yeah, I can see that. But those are jackets, really. They got on right there.
Yeah.
They're wearing a jacket where he's wearing a jumpsuit.
Right, but that's the whole thing. That's Archer's flight suit feels like it could move into the Dominion era, right? There's a lot of overlap.
Which one was your favorite uniform?
Okay, so seriously, my favorite uniform that they've ever made. It had the wrong com badge, but my favorite one was the one from Picard season 1.
No,
that was the one when he goes in and it's basically the colored tops, but they had some differences, and then there was a black collar. That was the best one.
That tells
What
you
was your
right
favorite
there.
uniform, Randy?
That tells me right there he's not a real Trekkie. He's not a real daggum. He's just a nerd wanting to rewrite it the way he wants to see it. Because quite frankly, if you said anything other than 7 of 9, anything in that question, you're wrong.
7 of 9 doesn't count. She had a unique outfit.
That's the point.
I'm talking
You
about
said what was my
Starfleet.
favorite uniform?
No,
Anything
I'm
that
talking
7 of
about
9
Starfleet.
wore.
I'm talking about like the overall uniforms for like the series or the
You
movie.
talked about Star Trek. You talked about Starfleet uniforms.
Yeah.
Well, then you got to go back to the original series. Which one always died? The red uniform guy always got killed on every away mission.
I'll tell you my favorite uniform. It's a very different answer. It was the original one from the original movies, the red one that looked like an actual military.
Yeah, it looked like a double.
Oh yeah, that's
shirt.
second.
Yeah, the double-breasted one. Like they did up until I think Star Trek 6. No, Generations had the red one.
Yeah.
I like those uniforms.
Oh yeah, those are my second favorite.
Cool. Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
And actually, the original ones are the gray and white ones from the motion picture.
It looked goofy when they were wearing like skirts. I mean, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
it's just like if you're a semi-militaristic, fucking.
Here we go again. It's the 60s. What did you expect them to wear?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. Lucille Ball's coming out of the grave right now, smacking you upside the back of your head.
I would pay money for that.
I like those movie uniforms because they look like actual military uniforms.
Yeah, they look like naval uniforms.
No, that's what it was. It was
again,
military.
I agree with you. I'm with you on that one, Don.
Yeah.
And seeing Kim Cattrall and freaking Kirstie Alley both rocking that uniform was actually really good. So
yeah, I'll give.
Yeah, true.
I agreed. So
wait. Unreal says Nurse Chapel's uniform. Which Nurse Chapel? Because you got the Nurse Chapel that was Majel Barrett back in the original series.
Yeah.
Because she had the miniskirt that Donnie hates so much.
Dude, Janice Rand got screwed. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was a pun. Continue.
Who's the girl playing it in Strange New Worlds now? Because she's no way, shape, or form the same Nurse Chapel. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
she is a completely different character all the way around.
Yeah.
So, okay. He says
which I'm actually coming back to. Right. That's actually that's a point I'm about to make. So, you have the prime timeline, which is the original series through the motion picture.
Yep.
Fundamental change. TNG, the red uniform era, up through season 5, episode 6 of DS9 is that timeline. There is another timeline shift, and we have what I would call the Enterprise timeline, right? Where you have so again, it's not that the gray uniforms exist in a separate timeline, but rather it's more, think of it as a timeline shift, right?
Yeah.
And now the uniforms look like something that again, it's not that Voyager's uniforms would have changed too, but rather when they're saying we're going to do this new Dominion war, they kind of look back and said we're going to use these as a model. It looks like a direct continuation. Kurtzman Trek, again, there's something else happens. Kurtzman Trek is its own timeline that comes from that Enterprise timeline. It's a very different technology, right? If we look at the
what was that again?
Jason, real quick.
Yeah.
Can I take a brief aside to let Randy know about something that I just
Yes.
found out?
Please.
And then we'll switch right back to Star Trek.
Yeah, go for it.
I got to take it to pro wrestling real quick.
Okay.
Slight detour. Hey, Randy, did you realize that on the WWE YouTube channel, they're showing AAA?
Yeah, they've been showing it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that because they've been partnering up with the Lucha Libre, the AAA promotion.
They showed all their stuff in the last.
Yeah, I didn't realize they're just showing all their stuff on their YouTube channel like this. You can just watch all the episodes.
Yeah, because they market to Mexico mainly, so they don't have a real market up here.
So they don't care if they just show it for free over here. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when you get stuff like Worlds Collide and their PLEs, their pay-per-views, you get them on I think they're putting them on Netflix, either Netflix or they're going to put them on ESPN.
Have you watched some of that stuff?
I watched almost all of it. I love it.
It's good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, well, it's more action based, obviously, but we can talk about that come Monday.
Would you say it's more entertaining than AEW?
Yeah, to me. But to say honestly, AEW is starting to get better to me. Slowly but surely, it's starting to get a little bit better. So,
all right, okay, back to Star Trek. Oh, okay,
yeah, back to Star Trek. So, the Enterprise is sort of its own timeline. It's still essentially you could say that the TNG and the Enterprise era are a family of time. Again, it's more like a timeline shift than a completely different timeline.
Yeah,
Kurtzman era though, where you start. This is where Discovery, Strange New Worlds sort of live in. But you could argue that those are even different timelines a little bit. That is sort of its own timeline, but that is the timeline that sends Spock back. So again, it's not that they're and here's why.
So you're kind of mixing it with that Kelvin timeline then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Kelvin timeline is a branch off of that Kurtzman timeline, because look at again, this is the media.
Yeah.
That's the original Enterprise, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. This is the Enterprise from the Strange New Worlds. It is this is a more advanced universe than what we even saw to a point with TNG's era. Like I'm
going to give you your own argument on this.
Mm-hmm.
Which model was done sooner or done
exactly?
Newer? So okay,
I know, but that's sort of kind of the point here. Is like we can see that this is a different one. This is a different one. But then let's look at this is the Kelvin, right, from the Kelvin timeline. That wouldn't have worked in Enterprise. Like it's still different. So I think it's the Kurtzman timeline that Spock goes back to, and we know that the big change with the reason there's a huge technological jump in the Kelvin timeline is the Narada. The Kelvin reviews, because the Narada had Borg technology on it. That's why it was so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
This has been talked about in beta canon for a while. All those scans from the Kelvin make it back to Starfleet. That's why there's this huge technological jump, and the Enterprise is so much more advanced. Yeah. Everything's so much more advanced by the time we get to Kirk, because they've had this technological jump that happens with the Kelvin encounter. So we have the original series, we have that sort of TNG red uniform era. We then have the timeline shift into Enterprise, timeline shift into the Kurtzman Trek, and then that's where we have the Kelvin timeline be created as its own sort of jump. So all of these changes that are happening is because we know we have the temporal Cold War happening, and then a full-on temporal war. So all of these changes, and again, that still involves Q, and I would argue Q and the Q as a group are probably interacting with humanity a lot more than we realize.
Because they kind of did that on Strange New Worlds.
Exactly.
They kind of pulled that in because the voice of the kid who was screwing around with
Sherlane's father.
It was with Spock. Spock was there. Chapel and that other guy were going to get married, and he was he was messing everything up and tried to put it with having
Yeah,
fun,
that's
just
Trulane.
quote unquote
Yeah,
having fun. And
yeah.
then when the voice comes in and bring him back, it's John Delancey's Q's voice, is what it is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Trulane is a child,
Yes.
and it is, and so the implication to all of that is that true, because there's been this theory in the fandom for a long time that Trulane was either Q directly or at least a family member or a very very young
Yes.
Q.
Yes.
And so by having the parent be John Delancey means that means that's Q. That would mean Trelane is essentially
A Q.
baby Q, right?
Exactly.
The child that we see in Voyager is sort of the implication that's made there. But we know the Q literally had a war. They died. Stars blew up. And I'm a fan of the idea that the Romulan star blowing up that destroys Romulus was because of that war, right?
Yeah.
So instead of everyone trying to figure out how to harmonize all the timelines, my point is they're all essentially warped different timelines created from this temporal Cold War, which flows into a war that makes the minor timeline changes, but that we probably have wars like that with Q and other beings that fundamentally alter the universe in ways that explains why the original series is so radically different on a technological level and timeline level to all the other series. It's easily explained just that they're all different series.
Yeah. Well, hey, one down there, Multi Super Kalel, he asked, was Q reprimanded by the Q Continuum? Wasn't he? As I'm thinking that's exactly the episode we were talking about where they took away his powers.
Yeah,
When he had to
exactly.
be human. He didn't even understand the concept of hunger.
Yeah.
So that was a great episode. So.
Oh, it's a great episode. It's one of the best TNG episodes. But that's kind of my point, is that we see them growing and changing and evolving throughout the series as well. In fact, Q starts off as just this sort of he's Puck, right?
Exactly. 100%.
He's Puck. That's what he is. He is Puck from A Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yep, sure is.
Just infinitely more powerful. But by the time we get to Voyager, and this goes back to how Voyager ruined Q, we sort of find out that Q has been messing with humans for a long time, including saving them. Riker, we are told expressly that Riker's existence was because of the other Q's interactions with humans.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible, in fact, probable, that all of his sort of, and we're told he was a rebel from the beginning, but it means the Q Continuum has probably been doing a lot of stuff off screen that we don't recognize.
Okay, Polar Red, yeah, you're right. We're thinking way harder than we need to on it, but we're also 3/4 drunk too doing it, so we're having fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is us killing brain cells. Like this is
exactly.
This is just killing brain cells. Yeah. If you take anything we say here seriously, you have missed the point of the episode.
Oh because we're going to argue till the day we die about how.
Let me ask you guys this question, okay?
How bad the Acolyte is versus how good
if you had to do your own version of Star Trek, how would you do it?
The Orville.
I don't know that I'd do Star Trek. Like I would probably
do the Orville. I really would.
I'd probably do something that would look a lot more like Babylon 5, where it's a little more grounded. Because I'm a huge fan of realistic sci-fi where the physics makes a little more sense. However, to be honest, in a way, Star Trek may be a lot more realistic than we give it credit for, because we're kind of
it could be made more realistic.
Well, I don't think you need to make it more. That's the thing, is I think this is one of those things we sort of forget, is they're using a very different type of science, and if you can travel faster than light, if you're able to do that, there's basically nothing you can't do. You'd have space magic.
Well, a lot of what Star Trek technology is due to limitations in the budget. For example,
absolutely.
That was a limitation in the budget issue, because having an actual ship. If I had to redo Star Trek, I would get rid of the transporters, because we don't have the limitation in budget anymore. I would try to make it a little bit more grounded in science, but I mean, obviously, it's going to be pretty out there because they're still warping space and shit.
Yeah,
I would do more storylines about them actually having to do with them being in space than anything else.
Yeah.
Because Star Trek at the end of the day is going from planet to planet, encountering a new civilization, getting into some kooky storyline, right?
Yeah.
But you don't get enough emphasis on them actually being in space.
Yeah.
Like, for example, coming across a black hole. You
Yeah.
know? There's a lot of like a neutron star or something. There's a lot of interesting shit that
Well,
they could do with that. They
there
never
are
do.
several things where they go to certain stars to document and take
Yeah.
regions. Such,
Yeah,
like
no,
they
they've
know
done
one's
those
about to go
episodes
to
before.
Nova. They
Yeah.
want to be there to,
Especially in TNG. But it's
Mhm.
almost like throughout Star Trek, it's almost like them being in space is like doesn't even matter.
No.
Well,
They're not having to deal with space shit, you know.
well, yeah,
Sometimes they,
yeah. I mean, they deal with space shit a lot, though, man. But to your point, there is a level of technology. Again, I think you get more of that with like Babylon 5, right? I mean, heck, honestly, if I were to do Star Trek, I'd probably end up making it more like Red Dwarf.
like the whole thing about Star Trek is space is a non-issue for them. Like,
yeah,
none of those are a worry. Oh, we're gonna run out of gravity and everyone's gonna get sucked out. Not an issue,
yeah.
right? No one ever gets sucked out in Star Trek.
Actually, it does. No, they
Yeah, no, it
in
does
the
in some
90s. Trek,
battles.
yeah.
But I mean, think about it like this, okay? First Contact was the first fucking time in Star Trek, other than the first movie where you see them outside of the spaceship in like an actual space walk.
Yeah.
How few times they do an actual
I-
spacewalk in Star Trek is kind of
Ye-
ridiculous.
No, you're right. I think you have a valid point on that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Wait. You're saying they don't do enough of them?
Yeah.
They don't do enough of them. They've done them. I'm not saying they never do.
No.
They
You're
have
right.
done them.
I agree. Now that because the only ones they really focused on was Worf and Picard walking on the hull in the movie First
First
Contact.
Contact.
Yeah. But that's the whole
That
point.
was one
Is
of the
that's
best
one of
ones.
the few.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But that's one of the few times they actually do that. So to your point again, Donnie, you'd like Babylon 5. That the space is kind of that's a real big issue for them. That's all.
Yeah.
Because they are more grounded from a physics perspective. But
Actually,
again,
from that
from
point
our
of view,
physics
actually, Expanse is probably the most space
oh,
centric.
that's absolutely the
Where
most.
like everything in space is just out to kill you.
Mhm.
Yes. Expanse. Oh, I love the Expanse. I wish
Oh, the Expanse has
five
the
could do it
record
better,
for the
but I love
most
it.
death scenes of people being ejected out of the airlock, out of all the shows.
Kind of cool
Oh,
though.
great.
Watching them
Yeah.
do it is kind of cool.
And it's kind of accurate too. That's the
Mhm.
thing that they.
What
Yeah,
was
they use way more real physics in that. Yeah, I love that show.
trying to think? What
People
was that?
don't realize when you get ejected out of an airlock, the first thing you die from isn't like freezing or exploding. You
Mm-mm.
basically suffocate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're every bit of oxygen gets sucked out of your lungs.
Yeah.
And your blood
Suffocate.
essentially, I hate to say it like this, it's not really a freeze per se. Your blood essentially boils.
Yeah.
It
Because
boils,
there's
but
no
that's
pressure.
not what kills you.
No.
It's
You're
the
for
lack
that
of oxygen
3 or 4
that
minutes,
kills.
you're sitting there going,
Yeah.
Yeah. While your
The
blood is
whole
boiling.
turning to ice thing, no.
that's after.
That's not how the law of thermodynamics work.
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
radiate heat at that point because there's nothing actually touching your skin to like draw the heat out of you.
Yeah, that is the worst part about. In fact, that's I spend too much time listening to things about space. Space. The one thing nobody would guess is I'm a huge astronomy nerd. I spend a lot of time with space. But anyway, like that is one of the big things that people sort of miss is you can't it's real hard to get rid of heat in space, right?
Yeah.
People talk about the radiation belt. It's like all you have to do is rotate and reflect it because there's no medium to really get that radiation and heat into your ship. That's the whole point.
It's like
There
sound.
is no medium. Yeah.
You can't make a sound in space because if it's a vacuum, there's nothing for sound to travel through.
Yeah. That's heat works the same way. It's like there's nothing there. You can't. It's real difficult to expel that heat. So yeah, space is far more terrifying. Yeah. So the Expanse is really really good. But again, I would say the Expanse is just it's a level below Star Trek. So that's why I wasn't necessarily going there. If you want to do Star Trek, you kind of have to have that faster than light travel one way or the other. Which again, big fan of that.
Well, Expanse goes for a very different thing because Expanse is going for realism. That's
it's going for hard sci-fi. Yeah.
And
Although,
I
again,
enjoyed it too, but there's other parts of it that I'm sitting there going, why are we doing this again? Because who was it? Thomas Jane's character in that? Was that the one I'm thinking about?
Yeah.
Thomas Jane's character, I wanted that dude to die. I hated him from the minute he opened his mouth in that show. I really did. He was a whiny little bitch for a cop.
The characters could have been written better. The characters
Yeah.
could have been written better.
Yeah.
Again, it was the world that was what made Expanse interesting. Like the space
that's
combat.
a good point.
It was the space combat for me.
Yeah.
It was I think the universe was more interesting than the characters.
Well, the space battles were more interesting because they were so much more limited in their technology, and all their projectiles were actual bullets.
Yeah.
So them having to maneuver their ships around like that made sense.
Yeah.
And like the damage was catastrophic, so it added to the drama because you would see actual bullets flying through the hull.
Yep.
And actually hitting people.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. The dude got his head blown off straight up, just out of nowhere.
Or the dude
God damn, that's what an actual space battle looks like, huh?
Yeah. Oh no, exactly. And one of my favorite things, and they address this, is you can only accelerate so fast. Again, not for those who want to go and watch it, I won't spoil it, but there is a character who dies because of the speed. Like that's it. Like
the real reason why he died, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know the real reason why he died. Okay. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I don't want to spoil the shit. I don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, moving on. There was one question I want to hit before we go.
Which one?
It's not even I think Nemovir said at the very beginning, Star Trek is pure communism. Nope. Absolutely not. Not even close. I would really, really, really recommend the Feral Historians channel. Like, he's a great channel. He likes to use sci-fi as a medium to talk about.
He's talking about the fact that they don't have a currency, though.
Well,
actually, they do.
They do.
Some of the cultures they do. Ferengi's still dealing in.
The Ferengi do.
Old Press Latin.
Federation doesn't.
Old Press Latin is a function for everybody in the quadrant. Okay, so it was used. It just wasn't used by the Federation.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny because again, that's one of those inconsistencies because sometimes they in the original series they do, right? Yeah. They had Federation credits. Again, I would go back, but the thing is, they're clearly not communists and they're not capitalists. They are post scarcity. This is the thing that people don't understand, is that communism and capitalism are modern they're modern iterations of older systems because of the advancement of technology, right? They are in a post scarcity situation. They're not communists. However, if you wanted to take it that way, the reason I love DS9 is it disproves communism on multiple episodes. In showing that the Ferengi actually in many ways have a better system and a better way of understanding. Like that's again, they were just doing it as an homage. The episode where in fact they repeat this a couple of times but my favorite one is when again it's during the Dominion War and they were trying to get the Defiant fixed up, right? And O'Brien couldn't get the stuff he needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nog, best character of the entire series, proves capitalism is better and discusses the great material continuum.
Yes,
it's one of the best episodes ever. But it's like, guys, you do understand and considering how lefty what's his face is, the guy who was the head writer on DS9. I can see his face.
Berman was the head writer on it?
No. It's I mean, Berman was a part of it.
Brandon Braga.
Maybe. I forget his name. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't remember either now.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, like, they're big lefties. Like, you realize you completely disproved all of it. But yeah. So they are not space commies. They are actually just post scarcity, which creates an entirely different system. In fact, there's one proposal that I think works where it's not even they don't have currency, but essentially there is a ration, an energy ration.
Yeah. But
the ration is so large that essentially it doesn't matter, right? Because it's an energy fueled economy. But the essentially the amount of energy that you have access to is so large, it wouldn't matter. Nobody thinks about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha.
Now on ships, we know they have rations, like it's a limited economy, but on Earth, essentially it's so big it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's like being a billionaire. You're really never going to run out of money unless you're like, you have to try. if you're just a person living your life, you have access to enough energy to do whatever you want that it doesn't matter. So yeah,
Gotcha.
they're not commies, they're just post scarcity. It's a different system. But anyway, the
Well,
Ferengis
see,
prove that it's bad anyway.
I'm going back to your timeline thing now. There's
Yep.
another instance of the timeline being screwed up. Guess who went back to 1947 Roswell?
Yeah.
The Ferengis. Quark,
Yep.
Rom, and Nog.
And Nog. And Odo.
Oh,
Odo was
that's right.
there.
Odo. That's right. Odo went too.
Yeah.
So you're
Which
talking
was
about
hilarious.
now you've got a freaking changeling as well, you know?
Yeah. That is a great, again, DS9 is the best series.
Yeah.
It's at least co-equal to TOS, but I really think it's the best. Best.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I go in there and watch hey, what are we going into the holodeck so I can see Bobby Darin sing or James Darin sing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was gold too.
Great.
They brought that dude out of big time retirement, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
I came
That's
up with
great.
the best. If I had to write my own Star Trek series, I came up with the best villain. Ready for this?
Mhm.
Hear me out. Space Nazis.
They're already out. They were already out.
Here's the premise here. Okay, so there's with the Federation and everything, right? There's a contingent of humanity that is very anti-alien and thinks that humanity should just isolate itself and just stick to its colonies, gather resources, and fuck all the other aliens, right? These are space Nazis. Now the Federation's not about that, but this human movement, they pick up steam because they're saying like humanity first. Every time we get involved with these aliens, some really fucked up shit happens. We
Which is
all
the
are
point.
representing people who've died in like these alien battles, and we're not about that. And they start taking over like Federation ships because they infiltrate the Federation. And then with those ships that they take over, they start launching attacks on other aliens, like the Vulcans. They'll like launch an attack on like a Vulcan diplomat, and they'll try to start a war, or to
So
try to
you've
like
watched Enterprise.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's last season of Enterprise.
I never watched Enterprise.
No, it's Enterprise. Yeah, last season they do that in last season.
They already came up with space Nazis. Damn, I thought I was clever for thinking.
Well, Star Trek. You also have Star Wars, and then you could argue. You could. I mean, the Romulans are more space. They're more space. They're more space commies than anything else. They're the space Soviet Union. The Klingons were originally the space, Eastern Horde kind of.
Yeah, they're the orcs. They're the orcs.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the original series. They were much more of a organized military. They were really
yeah.
space China.
Look at and that's another thing. Look at the Klingons from the original series. They didn't have the ridged brows or anything like that.
Yeah.
They were just dark haired, kind of look. I hate to say it like this, like Mongolians for the most part.
Well, yeah, that's what that's what I'm saying. They were very, very clearly that's what they were going for. Was sort of that Eastern Horde sort of. Again, they were space Chinese essentially, is what they were.
Okay. Well,
but again,
either way,
but they were a space. But again, that was their flavor. Where the Romulans are the space USSR. So.
Yeah, I'll just stick with the one, the only. Khan.
Yeah. Although, another reason why we know that they're not space commies in Star Trek, because you know who the space commies are? The Borg.
Exactly.
Yep, they're the space collectivists.
They're the hive. They're the collective.
Yep.
Yes, everything belongs to all of you, or belongs to us, and we will deviate to you.
Yep.
You
will obey.
I did like freaking First Contact because of the fact they brought the Borg Queen in, which was really, really cool. I liked it. Problem is when they went to Picard and they brought her back and then they worked it out, then it turns out that damn scientist was actually going to be her. Like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even bother with Picard season 2. Picard season 3 has some of the best television, period.
Yeah, and it's great. It's better written. It's easier to follow.
The problem is Picard season 3 should have been Picard season 1, and they would have fixed a lot more.
I like season 1. You know why I like season 1? Because of the Romulan infiltrator into the Cameron Temita's character.
Yeah, you could have done that. They could have done that.
But it was
That's what
freaking
I'm saying.
hilarious because then you got Riker coming out of retirement, and that whole speech that he gives
Oh yeah,
in,
that was
in
funny.
one
Yeah,
made the
I like that.
entire freaking season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they ended it by killing Picard. Really? Because
Yeah.
after that, he's a Data.
Yeah,
Honestly.
he's a Gollum. Yeah. And yeah, Wesley coming back in season 2 was actually, I did see that. That was pretty cool. Again, you could have taken the best elements of Picard season 2 and season 1 and still done it as season 3. Because again, season 3, I do not want to spoil it for anyone, is one of the best Star Trek things that they've done. The problem is they had to clean up a lot from the previous 2 seasons. But there are several episodes in there where you have some of the best moments of not just Star
100%.
Trek television. There is again, not to ruin it, but the bar scene with the captain who's supposed to be like the big asshole for the season, you realize, oh no, he's not. In his confrontation of aside many confrontations with sort of snide comments with him and with Picard and Riker, but when he faces off Picard, that was one of the best scenes in any Star Trek anywhere. And then there's that scene with his son, but he doesn't know it's his son yet. But he doesn't even know that the kid is there. He's just a guy at the bar, and he overhears. That is one of the most heartbreaking scenes they've ever done. Again, Picard season 3 was really, really good. Yeah, really solid, and
it worked the good versus evil and all that stuff so well. It was a proper send off for the actual the TNG guys. It was what the last episode should have been, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
So
just that line that the captain gives, where it's like you created a Borg so dangerous it gave him a name.
Yeah.
That was such a killer line. Okay,
I did not want him to get killed though. I will say that.
Well,
that would have been he'd have been great going forward. So
yeah, he would have been. Anyway, no, I do not own Vulcaneers. I don't cosplay. I don't LARP. Nope. I have a couple of I only have a handful of t-shirts. None of them are Star Trek. The only reason I have a bunch of Star Wars t-shirts was because they were cheap and I wear them to work out. That's it. I've got
got a question.
T-shirts, and they're both Marvel, and they're both Spider-Man. Actually, I have
a question for both of you. Well, because he ain't gonna know a whole lot of that side because he didn't watch any of these newer ones. Best Kirk, first of all. Give me your best Kirk.
It's still Shatner.
Okay.
Hold on. I'll say the best Kirk.
Well, it's only between Shatner and Chris Pine, right?
No,
there's another
new guy in Strange New Worlds. But here's the thing: I'm going to say very specifically, Shatner in the motion picture is the best Kirk.
No.
Yes, 100%.
I got one line for you on that one. Why does God need a ship?
I actually quote that line in one of my books.
I'm telling you, that's one of the best lines Shatner and Kirk ever came up with. But don't get me wrong, I like Chris Pine. I thought it was that bit was needed at the time.
Yeah,
to get the stuff going again. Because without those, I don't think you have what's going on
Chris
Paramount.
Pine was a good modern reimagine of Kirk.
Yeah. Well, this other guy is more along the same lines as the original Kirk, though.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, he's doing really again for a non-Shatner Kirk. He's probably the best.
Yeah. So, but then you got to go because obviously, Anson Mount as Pike blows Jeffrey Hunter out the water, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, no, that's
But they haven't done. If they ever get to the point where they can recreate the Glass Menagerie
World, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's 3 seasons right now, and they're some of the best television that's been out on as far as.
So how is it on the wokeness
in a long time? What's that?
How is it on the wokeness scale though? 3, 4? You'd say?
At least 8. At least 8.
An 8? Oh.
No, I don't give a fuck. All right.
And I'm telling you, it's not. It really, it's really not.
All you got to know is number 1 is Rebecca Romaine, so you just have to shut up there right off the bat. And
so there are no handicapped obese lesbians on there or anything like that.
Trying to think
obese lesbian in a wheelchair.
No,
but Carol Kane's on there as Lanthanite, so that helps a lot too.
Yeah.
She's actually
Okay.
pretty
You gotta
funny.
check those. You gotta check those boxes, man. You gotta check those boxes.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what to check. I'm gonna tell you check your ass out the way, okay? Because right now you're gonna have to tell me which Spock you like best.
Okay, so here's the thing. Crap. Okay, you know what?
Leonard Nimoy.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, Leonard Nimoy is the easy one.
Yeah, and he
He's the
was the
only
greatest. Don't get me
because
wrong.
because he's such
He's
a
the
great.
only one.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
All other ones other than Leonard Nimoy were people who are attempting to copy Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I won't say that because Zachary Quinto was. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but
Of course,
he did it in
Randy
kind of
picks,
mode. Okay,
of course, Randy picks
this
the
dude
only
on
gay Spock out of all of them.
Ethan Peck on freaking Strange New Worlds is the most Nimoy-like Spock yet.
Yeah, I'll give that to you. He's really
Is he more like Spock than Spock, though?
Damn near.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing. They kind of got away from the Nurse Chapel thing in the original series. You know, they were kind of the thing. You remember? They started doing that, and now they got her with, of course, or got him with freaking how they
Sheldon.
Huh? No.
Sheldon. I agree with Bigfoot Fidesz. Sheldon is from Big Bang Theory.
Actually, can I tell you guys who my second favorite Spock is other than Leonard Nimoy?
Okay.
Brent Spiner is Data. Because if you think about what Data is at the
that's clearly what he was.
That's true.
At the end of the day, Data, he's just Spock, but a little bit more retarded.
Exactly.
He's like a retarded Spock.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yep.
Yeah. So, but no, Ethan Peck though,
he is good.
Connie Chung plays that. Or not Connie Chung. Connie Chang.
Connie Chung will play an excellent film.
I can't remember the girl's name that plays Khan. She's Noonien. She's one of Khan's descendants. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's freaking amazing. The girl is freaking amazing. And they started that little bit with them going, and I'm like, I would have never seen this coming until she started loosening Spock up, and you could see her eyes starting to twinkle a little bit. I was like, this is going to get cool.
But wait, Randy, why did you think Connie Chung was the one who played the daughter of Khan?
Because her name's Connie
on the nose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Legit question. What from Bigfoot Fidesz? Seriously, question for Jason. What Data movie was it where Data was scary as fuck? You could be mentioning Star Trek First Contact, where he at the very end where it looks like he's shifted. That's very, very short. I think you may be thinking of the two-parter with Lore, where Lore is giving him only negative emotions. Maybe that's the one.
She said Data was like a zombie that was in that Star Trek. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're talking about First Contact then. Yeah, because they
no, he wasn't a zombie in that. What she's talking about, there was one where he was set up as an observer of a certain pre-warp.
That's Insurrection.
Yeah. No, this is before that. Was that the one where he attacked them? No, there was one in TNG where he attacked the Enterprise, and they were literally trying to. Maybe it was Insurrection.
Yeah, that's Insurrection.
He ended up showing the actual right? The blind. Yeah, so it was Insurrection because he was trying to attack the
Enterprise. Yeah,
the Enterprise, and then he was attacking the people that were trying to observe.
Data was always kind of weird. Yes, Data was a retarded Spock.
He was an autistic Spock. Right. I wouldn't say, he was an autistic Spock.
Yeah, he had retarded moments,
though. You do too. You keep talking about Galactus.
Hey, I ain't gonna deny that I have my retarded moments, because I certainly do.
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree with Randy. I think Ethan Peck is a great Spock. He really is. But I do love Zachary Quinto's Spock. I don't think we've got. Yeah, I don't think we've ever gotten a bad Spock. Leonard Nimoy is fantastic. He's a generational actor.
He's the standard bearer.
Casting choices. Right. So Zachary Quinto was definitely a good choice.
My favorite scene with Zachary Quinto is Beyond is actually one of my favorites of the Kelvin timeline, where he's like, hey, if you can find this thing, you can find her because it's radiation that's harmless, necklace. I gave it to her. You could probably track him with that. And he stopped, and they all stopped like, so you're telling me you gave your girlfriend a tracking device? and everyone just stops and looks at him, and he kind of tells his head, he goes, "That was not my intent."
Yeah.
Again, Zachary Quinto, like, we haven't gotten a bad Spock. They've nailed that every time. Chris Pine was not. He's not a bad Kirk, but he's not a great Kirk either. The Kirk from the original series was best way of saying it. He was a grown ass man. He had you can see he bears the weight of what he does, right? And that is something we're getting with the new guy in Strange New Worlds. He's an actual adult. He feels the weight of command, and of duty, where Chris Pine really didn't.
No.
Until Beyond. That's when we start getting that feeling, right? But Kirk was very much just a grown ass man, and the new guy is giving it and bringing that weight. A lot of it's the writing, but like I said, it's good. I like Strange New Worlds.
Yeah,
it's solid.
I mean, I'm waiting for they did 5 seasons. We're waiting for season 4 to come out. The 5th one's already been either already underway or already in the can, and they actually changed the stuff to say 5-year mission. For the intro. So,
and they are, and something I noticed in season 2 or 3, they're putting months between episodes. Like, they're flat out telling you, like, there's long periods of time between some episodes, and they're conveying that to you.
Yeah.
For that reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really sucks though, because I know how it's all going to end if they stay with the way they keep preaching it, like they did with Discovery, because Discovery was what spawned this before their jump 800, 900 years in the future, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So they spawned this with Pike, but we all know Pike's going to end up in that floaty wheelchair and that mask.
Yeah. And they tell you that, like, that
he
was
already
season
knows
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it's going to happen. It's an inevitability.
Yeah. So,
which is why, again, not to spoil anything, what they did at the season finale of this last season, I think was actually really interesting.
Yes, it was
how they did that. But yeah, they flat out told you, and you've known since the Discovery era, this is Pike. He ends up in that wheelchair.
Actually,
it all goes down.
We've known since the original series.
Yeah, because they're saying this is the same guy. Yeah, this is the guy from Menagerie. This is the guy that Spock has. The one we can end on this. The one failure I think of Strange New Worlds is that the most interesting relationship that they do not explore, even though they have Spock banging everything with legs in this one, is the
he does not bang everything. He just has relationships.
Okay, fine. But the one relationship that they do not explore at all, and they need to, because it's kind of a big key thing, is his and Spock. Like, this is a man Spock is absolutely willing to be executed for.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole, like, Spock is someone who
think about that. Think about that though, because remember at one point in this last season, there was a spot where they were sitting at the bar talking.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that they needed to spend way more time with him and Spock explaining why Spock looks at this guy and he's like, I will risk my life to get this man the ending he deserves. Yeah. Right? Like, Spock needs, like, they need to explore that, because, like, to his point, right? Kirk and Spock was Picard and Data, right? We needed to a point as far as the relationship. Yeah. So what we needed we needed to see Pike and Spock, and where Spock and Kirk were friends, right?
Yeah.
Spock and Pike is a mentor-mentee.
Exactly.
Almost father-son to a point, because it seems like there really is, but that's the one relationship they haven't explored, and that's the one they need to, because, again, Spock's willing to risk his life.
Yes.
To get Pike that happy ending. It's like, okay, so then you need to tell us what the heck happened here. Like, why is he willing to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my one.
And maybe they will. Maybe they will elaborate more on it. I mean, honestly, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, maybe they will. And again, like, I hope they do, because that is the one. I think that's the biggest miss. But again, I do like Khan. I like the girl. I do like her.
Yeah,
and I do like how it does sort of set up some things that make a little bit more sense with in the original series. So again, like I said, my overall theme is the timelines are always kind of moving back in, like they're trying to tell the same stories, but it's just there have been these shifts and changes.
Oh yeah, 'cause they lay some foundation for the original movies too. Because I mean, there was one point where where he goes back to the Earth when he's dealing with his old betrothed, the ex fiance or whatever.
Yeah.
And they cut back to the prison, and whose name is on it? Savick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
no,
I'm
like I said, there's been a lot of things they've done that, and they give to Praying in many ways they set her up better for time. Essentially, this is still the universe in which Amok Time would still work.
Yeah,
because originally, To Praying was just sort of again. I can't remember. I just remember thinking how messed up that episode is. Particularly if you're watching the '60s, you're like, you just killed Kirk to get. It's like it's nuts, right?
Yeah.
But like she's cold, she's calculating in a little petty, right?
Yeah, all to play him so she can get the one she wants.
Right. But if you factor in the times that T'Prang has been in this with Strange New Worlds and we've seen her, it's like, you know what? Maybe she really is the long-suffering fiance, and Spock's kind of the jerk.
Yeah. And that's the way they portrayed it really in Strange New World, because she really wanted to stay with him and he just wasn't there because of Chapel.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like it makes him kind of the bad guy in that story. So
agreed.
Yeah.
I checked out of the conversation like 20 minutes ago, by the way.
Oh, we're very aware.
Yeah.
Oh, if we're not talking about why
guys,
we're not talking about Galactus.
I want to play some fucking Cyberpunk right now.
See, here we go. Whiny bitch.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have decided on an outro video. I wanted to watch the Noah theme song I did a while back again. So that's where
Northern Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. What?
Yeah,
Noah's Ark.
Oh, you said
Noah. Noah's Ark episode you and texted Jason back in the day.
It's been a while. I've forgotten.
Well.
So play that funky music. Play.
Johnny Jason text talking Noah's Ark. It's different like the Titanic is stark. Saved us from flooding to God we can thank. Screw you, Jackie Rose, your stupid boat sank. But what about T-Rex? Tyrannosaurus Rex? Where the hell is he? Explain that, Jason and Tex. Leo DiCaprio floating on a door. Should have ridden with Noah, made it to shore. Two of every animal, but no T-Rex. Bible got no dinosaurs. Donnie is vexed. But what about T-Rex? Tyrannosaurus Rex? Where the hell is he? Explain that, Jason and Tex. Two of every animal, but no T-Rex. And unicorns are also fake. Damn, what's next? So when God decides to end the world, don't panic. Hop on Noah's Ark, just not the Titanic.